There's such a hush in the world when your name slips past my lips, a moment where the wind stops to listen, where even time itself bows in reverence. I never meant to fall into the infinite softness of your presence, never planned to stitch your smile into the hem of my soul, but love never asks for permission. It simply arrives, bold and breathless. You were not a storm, nor a fire, but something gentler, something that coaxed my heart to open like a blossom aching for dawn. In your silence I heard symphonies. In your gaze I saw constellations rewrite themselves. Every line on your palm spoke a story I longed to trace with trembling fingers, each heartbeat of yours whispering that perhaps, just perhaps, this was the touch of forever. Not a flash of passion doomed to flicker out, but a steady flame that warms without consuming. Love like this doesn't scream, it sings quiet, steady, unwavering. And in the lullabies it croons across my skin, I find something I never knew I lost. I find home. There are hours when I sit alone, staring at the moon, and wondering how it feels to carry light it never gets to keep. That's how I once felt, bright only in reflections, waiting on borrowed hope. And then you, unexpected as rain in July, stood at the edge of my world and didn't ask to enter. You simply stayed, with a patience I hadn't known existed, peeling away the layers I'd long forgotten were even there. With you I learned that love isn't always grand gestures and cinematic kisses. Sometimes it's just the quiet presence of someone who sees you, not the mask, not the posture, but the vulnerable, unguarded truth beneath. You never rushed me, never demanded answers I wasn't ready to give. You just listened, with your hands and your silence, and the kind of gaze that made every scar on my soul feel like art. And in the stillness of those moments, I fell, not the dizzying, reckless kind of fall, but the graceful surrender of a heart finally coming home to something certain. I remember the way your fingertips brushed mine the first time, like they were asking, not taking. That softness lingered far longer than it should have, echoing like a memory I hadn't lived yet. It wasn't the touch that startled me, but the promise in it. A promise I hadn't known I'd been waiting to receive. The world in all its noise, dulled around us. It's strange how the loudest feelings come in moments of near silence. You didn't speak, but everything in you said, I'm not leaving. And somehow, I believed you. I believed you because your presence didn't feel like an intrusion, it felt like an answer. And when I dared to look closer, I saw in you every poem I'd ever read, every scene in every love story that ever made me cry. Only this wasn't fiction, this was flesh and breath, and the exquisite ache of possibility. You, in your quiet certainty, made me brave enough to hope. And hope, I've learned, is the most dangerous and most beautiful thing we ever gift each other. There's a certain gravity to your presence that steadies me. I didn't realize how unanchored I'd been until you entered my life, like the tide, subtle, persistent, undeniable. You never tried to change me. You simply stood beside me until I remembered who I was beneath the doubt. That kind of love doesn't come wrapped in ribbons. It arrives barefoot, honest, and unafraid. There's something about the way you hold my hand that makes me believe we've done this before, in lifetimes written in stars, or across pages worn by time. I don't need declarations when you look at me the way you do, like I'm the last sunrise on earth. There's eternity in your eyes, and when I get lost in them, I no longer fear the ending of anything. With you, even silence has meaning. Even ordinary days shimmer with magic. And I think that's what forever truly is, not grand explosions or perfect plans, but 1,000 quiet moments strung together by the sheer audacity of choosing each other again and again. I used to think love was about losing yourself in someone else. But you taught me that real love is where I find myself more fully. You never asked me to shrink, to dim, to change my rhythm to match yours. Instead, you danced beside me, sometimes to your beat, sometimes to mine, and often to something we created together. That's where the miracle lives, in the shared silences, the compromises that never felt like sacrifice. You saw me not as a project, but as a masterpiece in progress. And in your eyes I found the courage to be messy, to be unsure, to be wildly, irrevocably human. You laughed with me when the world felt light and held me tighter when it didn't. You didn't just walk with me during the sunshine, you weathered my storms and never once let go. The touch of forever is not in the grand proclamations, it's in the ordinary things, the way your hand finds mine in a crowd, the way your voice calms my chaos, the way your presence makes me believe I'm already enough. Even in your absence, you're here. In the way my heart settles when I hear your favorite song, in the warmth that clings to my skin after your embrace has faded. I didn't know memory could be this tender, this vivid, this alive. You've etched yourself into my every breath, not as a weight, but as wings. Sometimes I close my eyes and feel the press of your forehead against mine, that sacred space where all the noise melts away. And in that quiet I hear your promises, not spoken aloud, but written in every choice, every gesture, every moment you stayed. Love is not a feeling, it's a decision, one you've made every day without fanfare. And I, in return, have chosen you with the same quiet devotion. We are not perfect, but we are real. And that truth binds us more tightly than any vow ever could. The touch of forever is not a myth. It's the way your soul fits mine, like a puzzle we didn't even know was missing a piece. We've had our shadows, our stumbles, our unspoken words, and missed timings. But never once did those moments diminish what we are. If anything, they made us stronger, more beautifully human. Love isn't about flawless days, it's about forgiveness. About waking up, even after the hardest night, and choosing to love anyway. And that's what we do, over and over. We choose. I've watched you love me in the ways that matter most, in the unglamorous hours, in the spaces no one else sees. You've held me not just when I was lovely, but when I was lost. That's what makes you different. That's what makes this different. You love like the ocean loves the shore, ceaselessly, patiently, with the understanding that sometimes the tide must pull away to return stronger. And I, who once feared being seen, now stand with my heart wide open, because you taught me that vulnerability is not weakness, it's the birthplace of connection. In the garden of your arms, I bloomed, and in the touch of your soul, I became something whole. When I picture forever now, I don't see castles or sunsets. I see you bringing me tea when I'm tired. I see you laughing at my terrible jokes, your eyes crinkling in that way I adore. I see us, older maybe, grayer definitely, but still dancing barefoot in the kitchen to a song only we know. I see every tomorrow, holding your hand, every season softened by your presence. There will be days we struggle, I know. But we'll face them together. You've become the heartbeat I measure time by, the rhythm that steadies my breath when the world spins too fast. I love you, not because you're perfect, but because you're real, because you see me in ways I didn't even see myself. And I promise to love you not with fireworks, but with constancy, with the quiet, unwavering strength of someone who understands that forever is built in the now, in each touch, each glance, each whispered, good night. This is the touch of forever. And I'll spend every day proving I know just how rare that is.